Broken Kanu's way, and Dahui's right out of the centre. It's Kanu, what's he going to do? Oh! Can you believe it?
So obviously Burnley haven't won a game yet, and they're sitting, I think, in the relegation zone. I think they're maybe 18th or 19th.
Just below us then.
Yeah, just below us. So yeah, another relegation 6-pointer this early in the season.
Honestly.
So, but they haven't started well. They've got 0 wins, and they took a battering against Everton after going 1-0 down. Everton pretty much blitzed them. I think it was 4-1 in the end, wasn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. So, and they blitzed them basically because after Everton scored 1, they scored the other 3 very quickly afterwards. Yeah. So, what do you make of Burnley, and what do you think of their team this season? I mean, it hasn't really changed from last season, but what are you thinking of their kind of threat?
No, I think the big thing for Burnley is that I'm just going to call up the league table now just so that we can see sort of what their fixtures and stuff are. But I think the big thing for Burnley is that their squad depth is non-existent. They've got their 11 players, they're 1 to 11, and they've got maybe 2 or 3 subs, something like that. And it's not really the best for them at all in terms of rotation, in terms of if one player gets injured, then they're kind of in a bad position. And they've not really had as much, I guess, they've not really had as much money put into the squad, I guess someone like Sean Dyche would have liked. So they made a big signing on deadline day, or just before deadline day, the guy from Lyon, Cornet, I think his name is, Maxwell Cornet, who I think they'll probably eventually end up playing on the wing. But the problem is with Burnley, over the course of the season, you never know where their goals are going to come from. You never really know if their midfield are going to contribute, but somehow or another, their midfield contribute enough, and there are enough goals scored by Chris Wood or Ashley Barnes or whoever it might be playing up front that week. Looking at the squad that played against Everton, they had Ashley Barnes and Chris Wood up front, and then both of them came off for Vidra and Jay Rodriguez. Those attackers don't strike fear. But somehow, some way, they always end up staying in the division, which is credit to the managerial job that Sean Dyche does. Where I think is the concern for us is, for some reason, over however many years, teams without a win always, or if they're going through a bad run of form, tend to come up against us, and it all completely changes. And they're prime Barcelona for 90 minutes. And then next week, when they go up against Norwich, or they go up against Southampton, or they go up against whoever it might be, it's back to regular scheduled programming. That's what I think is the problem where it comes to us. And for some reason, the teams up north that are like hard working on the pitch in terms of, right, we're going to win physical battle, we're going to rough you up a little bit. Those sort of teams in the Premier League always tend to look at Arsenal and think, yeah, we're going to get into them. Like, this is the type of game we're going to be physically up for. And we've seen with like challenges on our players that go overboard, and it's a bit of a problem. And then you see physical things which end up leading to goals for our opposition. And against anyone else, they would have been called fouls. This is the type of sort of mentality that I'm expecting Burnley will come in against us with. And while we beat Norwich, it wasn't 100% convincing in terms of the final score.
Yeah,
Burnley are going to be a completely different animal in terms of their defense, their setup, and how deep they are in particular. Like, Norwich came to the Emirates and were willing to try and play football at least. Burnley less so. I just hope that we don't catch one of these physical teams on the day where they're willing to just literally run through our players to get the result.
Yeah, like if I think you always know what you're going to get at Burnley away. Like it's going to be a physical challenge. They're going to pump the ball into the box and really test our centre backs. And this will be a big test for someone like Ben White, who we all know hasn't had the best time in terms of in being in the air, and not just at Arsenal, but in terms of his whole career in general. He's not the aerial monster, but it will be a challenge for someone like Gabriel and Tomiyasu. Like these are players who relish these aerial duels. I know Tomiyasu's very good in the air, and same with Gabriel.
Yeah.
So they will be tested, and it is up to Arsenal to basically play through it and basically try and dominate the game and try and really get chances and keep creating chances, because and there's no Granit Xhaka this time. He can't walk it into the net or choke someone to get sent off this time.
Yeah,
so,
I don't know what it is with Xhaka against Burnley. Something with him always happens.
Yeah, I mean, he cost us what five points last season because of his stupidity, getting sent off, and obviously kicking it straight against Chris Wood, so it went in. So he cost us 5 points last season, which was, or 4 points, whatever it was. But he cost us a lot of points against Burnley. And when you think about how we finished last season, how close we were to the top four, like I know we finished 8th, but we were only 6 points off the top four. Those points could have been valuable. So it's going to be a challenge, and I think it's good that we are going into this game, because I think it would have been really bad if we had gone in with no momentum and 0 wins and 0 goals. We've now got the goal. We've now got the win. We played some good football after Partey and Smith Rowe came on. There's at least some glimmer of hope that we can sort of be encouraged by for the weekend. And hopefully this will be a game that our team turns up and we really do perform on the day. And it's going to be a battle. I guess the battle will be between the strikers of Burnley, you named them, Chris Wood and Ashley Barnes, and the defence. How do you think they will handle them? And how do you think the midfield will do as well? Who would you go with in midfield?
I think defensively, we should be okay, because Gabriel, these are the type of challenges that Gabriel excels in. I can't really think of many attackers during his time in the first team, whenever he's played, that have dominated him aerially. Like one of his best performances came against Harry Kane. And Harry Kane isn't necessarily the same sort of striker in terms of strength and kind of trying to bully an attacker like Ashley Barnes and Chris Wood, but Harry Kane is good physically. Like he can hold off a player. He's quite strong, and we've seen him at times dominate the likes of Rob Holding in the past, and we've seen Rob Holding struggle against a lot of physical attackers. I think even though there's this misconception that he bullied Diego Costa, or he's Rob Holding's this sort of hard guy, that he tends to get beaten in the air quite a lot by a lot of players, whether it's someone like Chris Wood or someone like Raheem Sterling. It doesn't really matter. So I think Gabriel will relish this challenge. I think he'll be good. Tomiyasu, I wouldn't be surprised if he started again, because I was really impressed with his performance against Norwich, and there's no reason not to start him again. And I think he should be able to help defensively, both in the air, but also their main threat in my mind is down that left-hand side where Dwight McNeil normally plays, and he links up often with Taylor. Is it Neil Taylor, the left back, or Luke Taylor? Something Taylor.
Yeah, something Taylor.
Yeah. He's that left-hand side is Burnley's sort of primary threat, that and set pieces. So I think Tomiyasu against Dwight McNeil is going to be a very, very interesting battle. And I think it's one physically Tomiyasu can hopefully control, because it will be the first out and out, I guess, wide player in the Premier League. Norwich don't really, their wingers like to cut inside a lot more, whereas Dwight McNeil is very, very good on the outside of a fullback and getting to the byline and getting crosses in and stuff, and directly sort of taking a fullback on. So we've seen Tomiyasu's quite good in that case. as like a 1v1 defender. Whether he can do it against someone with the quality of Dwight McNeil, hopefully, fingers crossed. Ramsdale, I reckon, will stay in goal because I think in games like this where we're going to need a lot of calm and composure, particularly when the ball's in the air, Ramsdale brings that more than Leno. So defence will probably remain the same. In midfield, I don't know if you caught Mikel Arteta's press conference today.
Yes, I assume you're going to talk about Thomas Partey.
Yeah, if there's any doubt about Thomas Partey, I wouldn't start him.
Not in this game, no.
No, and the problem is he came on and changed the game so positively against Norwich that it's easy to get caught up in that. And we know how good Partey is and how much we could kind of need him to be fit for the duration of the season for us to remotely achieve anything. But if he's not 100% or close to 100%, then I wouldn't start him. And Lokonga will start, definitely. It's just about who partners him, really. I think Partey starts if he's fit for me.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, I think Partey starts in central midfield if he's fit. If he's 100% fit, start him. Like we're going to have a physical battle. We need to control that midfield area, and also he just offers so much in terms of balls going forward that it's important that we have him on the pitch. But if there is a doubt with a North London derby looming in the distance, then maybe not start him, or if you are going to start him, don't play him the full 90, take him off, make sure he's wrapped in cotton wool, and then obviously in the Carabao Cup game in midweek next week, don't put him in the squad at all. Yeah.